Welcome back to Girls in Finance. And today we have a special guest, Lexi. So, would you mind introducing yourself and how you entered the finance and accounting industry?
Sure. My name is Lexy Kessler. I am the Mid Atlantic leader for Aprio. And I started my first entree into even understanding what a CPA was or is was high school bookkeeping accounting class. It's Mrs. Wilson's, and I was in 11th grade. I remember her name even. And it just seemed very logical to me. And from there, I enjoyed it and found some summer jobs over the years, and then went to college and decided accounting kind of veered towards that, and eventually my senior year, I actually decided to finally go with accounting, but yeah, so
Oh my God. Thank you so much for sharing how you got started. I feel like particularly talking about finance, I think the one thing that's talked most about is the work-life balance. Like, what do you think about that?
I think work-life balance is a personal decision, right? And I think work-life balance varies over different parts of your life too, just depending what may be going on. And I think that from a work-life balance, I find that when I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, work doesn't feel like work, you know? So it's just balancing whatever it is personal, whether that personal is a hobby, it's your intramural sports team, it is spending time with your favorite pet, or you have a family. And so it just varies for every person. And I found in different phases of my life, it's varied as well. Certain times I was able to give more, certain times I couldn't. And I think with accounting, the beautiful part about being a CPA is the flexibility that it's been able to give me over my career. Um, I joke around, I may be working a little bit more in the winter months, but I hate skiing, so it's okay. I don't like the cold. I'd rather be outside when it's warm and nice outside in the summer months. And it just has allowed me to ebb and flow as my life needs, and being with an organization that's been flexible to me as well. It's really helped. It's been a big help. So
I see. Considering our audience, of course, girls, do you think that the field of accounting is inclusive for women? And what is your advice for women interested in joining the field?
yeah, I think accounting can be very inclusive. Actually, I think that the majority of individuals that major in accounting and graduate in accounting or become CPAs are female. And so with that, It it's really the leadership level where you haven't seen as many women there. So how do we empower women to feel that what society tends to dictate roles in life? I think this, as the generations go on, they're getting better about it. But it's how do you go forward to that leadership role and getting that leadership training and development and mentorship and guidance. I was very fortunate early in my career where our firm had the first female managing partner from a major firm defined. There's a definition for that in in the state of Maryland, rather, which is where I am. And she was a role model for me. And to me, that just felt like it was normal. I didn't realize that she was the first female in the state. So to me, it was like, well, yeah, let's just keep going, and having somebody that understood, and we both had families, we both had kids similar ages, and she could understand. And when I just had felt like I was overwhelmed, and we had gotten my son a brand new bunk bed set, and he needed new bedding. We were going from a client back to the office, and she's like, "Let's go make a stop." And so we stopped off at this like linen store, whatever it was, and they had all this bedding there. She went to high school with the owner, of course, so we just went through, and he pulled out these books, and I was like, "This looks perfect." And so right then and there, I got the bedding for his bed. He was so excited about it, and it was all the way back from a client meeting. I wouldn't have done that with a man. Wouldn't have done that. So I think having connections with people that understand what you're going through at any point in your life makes, I mean, here it is. My son's almost 30 years old, and that's a moment that I vividly remember. So that's how long ago it was. So,
I feel like Lexi, you talked about like having mentorship, and I feel like it's really crucial for like young people like us to sort of like have this guidance, especially like for people like who aren't probably like familiar with the industry they want to go in. Like personally, me like my parents like don't do anything related to finance. Like my parents are engineers, so like like if I had like, another like woman out there or someone who, is in the field of finance and sort of guide me. So like what do you recommend for the other teenagers who might not have this like, mentorship or like form of guidance like in their life right now?
So I think that mentorship doesn't have to necessarily be your family. It can also be the parents of your friends. I think a lot of people have that really close friend that their family becomes like your family. Like I didn't have doctors, but he was, and my generation, women weren't really there weren't as many women with professional careers. They were stay-at-home moms, or once we got older, my mom was a secretary, right? So, but I also think you find it in different ways when it's a summer job. Who is it that I always say, even with public accounting, when people start out, don't look at what you're doing that day. Look at what the person 3 or 5 years ahead of you is doing, right? And why are they doing what they're doing? What's behind that? And and I think that you can find mentorship in so many ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be in your field per se. I mean, I've learned a lot from different people over the years, of which I mean, even a friend that's in a completely different field, and how in conversation talking about how do they approach something that was going on at the at work, and you pick up a tidbit. And I think getting around to those places, changing how you listen, that makes sense, right? And how you listen to how people do things, you pick up those things about that didn't stop them, or that inspired them. And what is it that inspires me? And I learned that you get those, like how I feel like I turned into who I am today initially was three different partners in my firm. And I learned something from each one of them. They each had a different skill set. And I kind of pulled those pieces and nuggets to pull together what worked for me. Like just surrounding you with and listening differently.
I see. If it's okay, I really want to go back to like your personal life because I think we didn't really mention this at the beginning, but I want to know what your daily life as someone in the industry looks like and how you manage a work-life balance, what you prioritize, and if there is anything special you wanted to share about your experience.
So I think the profession of accounting, surprising to me, gave me financial security I never would have imagined, in the sense that the two things that stick out for me are one, number one is my husband and I were able to put our children through college without debt. And that was just incredibly rewarding to us, to give them that start, that they didn't have to worry about that. Um, the second is a little bit more materialistic, but when I was growing up, I had a picture of a certain sports car on my closet door. And 10 years ago, it's actually 10 years ago last month, I bought it. And that is like my dream. And my husband jokes like, "You still, are you getting too old to get in and out of it?" I'm like, "Absolutely not." Yeah, it's so, what it's afforded me an opportunity to have flexibility from a financial perspective that I never would have thought was possible. And there are so many paths that people go on, my friends, people graduated with from college, people that I started with my first year out of college, they all took different paths. And that's the beauty of majoring in accounting and becoming a CPA. It's just, you have a passion for animals, but you don't have a passion enough to be the scientist studying, maybe to be a vet, right? But you can go become a CFO of National Wildlife Federation, or some organization, or a zoo or national zoo or something like that, that helps to support your passion, but you can do it from a business perspective. Uh, so there's so many intangibles that have come out of that, for me personally, that I had no idea going into it, know, and and you do work hard, but you work hard because you enjoy it. And work hard doesn't mean all the hours. It absolutely is how you can get that flexibility, I guess. Um, but even you major in accounting, I've become more of a business person. And been able to, with our merger recently, I'm now the interim chief diversity officer for the firm, and we've created a council We've got 5 ERGs now, employee resource groups, for smaller communities within a larger firm for people to identify and be their authentic selves. And with that, I think we have like 40% of our United States workforce participating in an employee resource group. So I majored in accounting, but look at what I was able to do, right? Within a firm, there's so many things and skill sets you can bring that, yes, it is accounting, but you can make a difference in the lives of the people. It really has nothing to do with accounting, but it's the expansion of the accounting profession.
Oh my god, thank you so much for expanding on that. We really do appreciate it. I feel like I guess wrapping it all up, especially like for kids who are interested into like accounting, are there like any specific like summer jobs like would you recommend for them or something that they should be doing that will I guess eventually help with their skills?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to a little bit of the comment I mentioned earlier that look at the person, what they're doing for your summer jobs. So, a couple of thoughts. One is if you're a waiter or waitress, and what does your manager do when they cash out? What is it they're doing and why are they doing it? Trying to understand the business side of what you do is one area. The other thing is that there's a lot of programs in different communities. Like I was early in college, it wasn't high school, but it was early in college, and I was in the business school, but I had not declared a major yet. And my mother had heard on the radio an advertisement for our county's economic development for summer program for summer jobs connecting employers with students. Zero experience, went in, and it was manual bookkeeping, manual of invoicing, manual of expenses, how you allocate expenses out. And it was a summer job. And I learned so much. I remember thinking, I don't understand, this makes no sense to me. And all of a sudden the light bulb clicked, it went off and it started to make sense. And it was because of my mother heard this advertisement on the radio. And in the summer jobs in between, I would go and work for them and just keep growing in my responsibilities. And they were happy to have somebody come in and help them out on a part-time basis. But there's also, from a financial literacy perspective, there's wonderful programs with junior achievement that are for high school kids that, again, I'm not sure what there is in your guys' location, but we've got some centers that are like mock business communities where you go to and you learn about how to transact and be a business person. How do you have a store? What does it mean? Because accounting is accounting, but accounting is really about being a business person. It truly, truly is. Um, and it's the knowledge to be able to be that business person. So there's junior achievement, there's boys and girls clubs in different locations. Um, Operation Hope, that I know is another organization. So just trying to find these places in the community. And also, community colleges have great resources where they reach out to their local communities to try to connect. Again, it's about connections and connecting people with the resources so that you can help each other.
So I guess like one of the most important things that people we can do is like try fostering that business mindset and try to see what areas in our life is like connected towards areas of business. Just because I remember that I heard them saying like accounting is like the foundation of business. And so I could see yes how important it is. So I think that's all for today. And thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And I think our audience really appreciated your insight into these industry into the industry.
No, it's my pleasure, guys. It was great to meet you all. Hopefully in person one day.